How's it going?
Good,
Hey.
mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Nice. It's nice to hear a friendly accent, mate.
Yeah. Across the other side of the world, though.
Indeed, mate. That's a shit ass room you're in there. I must say, I've been seeing some of the shots you've been putting on the socials. It's not a bad little setup you got.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little workshop. Luckily, rent and stuff in Spain is quite cheap, so
Nice
for workshops. So yeah, no, got my own little workshop for the bikes and the cars here. So.
Sweet, good stuff. Well, look, thanks so much for spending some time and having a chat with us. Manuel was nice enough to set this up. Obviously, this is Manuel's baby. With these sorts of specials, Andra's been running a lot of these before, so I'll let Andra take the lead and sort of jump on and give you a bit of an intro as to what we normally try to get out of these. So go for it, Andra.
Yep.
All right. So to begin with, it's completely casual. It's absolutely not an actual interview type thing. I don't have experience in MotoGP or journalism or anything like that. The reason we put our podcast together is Dave, who is the fourth member who's not here at the moment, he had this idea to put together the master and the apprentice. So Manuel's obviously the master and knows everything. I could say everything.
Almost.
And I pretty much have no bloody idea whatsoever. So it's been a great opportunity for me to ask the silly questions and just, bring it down a notch from that really high level. And I don't know, we have fun, don't we? We have a great time doing our podcast.
We do indeed.
We do. You guys will have to check some out. They were just telling me on the end of our last podcast we did, there was a lot of really rude conversation going on that we said to the audio guy to not put in. So he's chucked it on the end of our last episode.
He made a point of putting it in.
Bless his cotton socks.
It makes it more interesting, doesn't it?
It
Exactly.
does.
That's
there
exactly
you go.
right.
You've got to have a laugh. Hey, life's too short.
Exactly.
But yeah, so it's just absolute casual chat. Really want to know, you guys, your story. From my point of view, I'm most interested to hear how you met and, your day-to-day life, how you're managing at the moment. And I'm sure that the other guys are going to ask you your motorbike questions.
Yeah.
the motorbike questions. Yeah.
And I'm really interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Well, this I find not boring, but Clara, is it correct that you ride horses?
Yep. Yeah. I started
show jumping.
Yeah, exactly. I started when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
And it's a passion.
Wow.
It's actually I think it's quite similar to the motorbikes. I mean, it's really different, but it's not a teammate because it's not a human being, but you have the bike or
it's
the
still
horse.
a big machine. A horse is a big, strong machine.
Exactly.
So do you do...
Sometimes it reminds me a lot to the motorbikes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you just do show jumping or do you do dressage and other bits and pieces?
Well, I compete in show jumping, but actually I have to work dressage and everything. I mean, the competition is only 60 seconds more or less of show jumping.
Yeah.
But we work every day. It's an athlete, the horse. So you have to train every day. You have to work everything to compete in that 60 seconds that you see the show jumping. But there's a lot of work behind. Yeah.
You've really got to form a relationship with the animal as well, don't you?
The animal.
It's like having a kid.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go crazy. Like, for example, in winter, if it's so cold, I look at my dad or my mom and I'm like, I'm so worried for the horses. They will be cold tonight.
How many horses have you got?
I have two.
Two.
Yeah,
what are their names?
Juanita Van de Neov. Yeah, I know it's crazy. She's from Belgium. And the other one's from France, and he's Kawa de Bolsin.
Yeah, my niece also has horses. She is now here with me, yes. And she started with ponies. I mean, imagine like yours, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then exactly I think last year they bought a horse also in Belgium. It must be the place to buy horses.
Yeah, is it good breeding stock?
Yeah, they are really good for show jumping especially. Yeah.
And she goes every morning. She leaves here 6:45 because now with this lockdown, there is just one who can get into the.
Yeah,
however
I'm doing the same. Yeah.
And she stays there for 2 hours with the horse training, because
Yeah.
after this lockdown, they have lost a lot of muscle, I think.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's a
right.
really tough sport. Yeah, and also, for example, if you have a motorbike, the motorbike doesn't have a happy day, or it's not angry, you know?
Exactly.
Sometimes
Yeah.
Or
I was
does
going to
it?
say,
Or
we
does
might
it?
argue with you on that one.
Yeah.
Look, to
well,
make
yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
to
that's
make
true.
it
But
very short, my niece, they have a psychologist for the horse.
yeah, it's
They
crazy.
have a trainer.
What?
They have somebody
Chiropractor.
who feeds the
Yeah, I've
horse.
seen the chiropractor.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, I know.
when
Yeah,
they-
yeah, they crack them like they get them crack their shoulders and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
I had a friend that studied in that. I couldn't even, because I go to a chiropractor for people, but I can't even comprehend chiropractor.
They have
chiropractic.
everything.
It's amazing.
Dentist, psychologist.
Yeah, imagine. Look. When
Horse
she comes and tells me, "No, my horse is depressed." Depressed?
Why
Depressed?
not?
He said, they say yes, and now we have to leave her for 2 weeks in peace.
More sugar
Yeah.
cubes.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm talking to my dad and I say, why you let me started with the ponies and everything? If I was playing tennis, I will have 5 rackets. I will be so happy. The best ones, easy. If one breaks, I have another one. No worries.
yeah.
Why?
They do say don't work with children or animals. So, yep. Wow, that's amazing.
Remy, talking about psychologists, have you worked with any sport psychologist or not yet?
Me or her?
You.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get kind of forced into it, let's say.
Okay. So is that by the team or
It's
by
always the woman.
Clara, yeah?
Not by the team, more kind of by her and my dad. It kind of pains in the ass, to be honest.
It was a teamwork.
Yeah. Well, if anyone knows the value of it, it's going to be your dad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he did it once and he got a lot out of it. I mean, I did it how many times? 3 or 4 times, and a different one as well. But nah, for me, doesn't really do it for me. So,
okay.
But anyway, I did try. But meh.
So you would change that for a pair of horsepower more on your bike, right?
Yeah. I'd take horsepower over psychologist any day.
I was going to say, fish, and you like fishing, don't you? Fishing's pretty therapeutic, right? That's
yeah. I mean, not with the rod. Well, I mean, I do have like when we go, but I spearfish, so I'm under the water with the gun.
That's therapeutic in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm not with any tanks or anything. I'm on a breath.
Yep.
And just the concentration for that, and the mental strength you have to have for that is, for me, it's pretty good mental training, I think.
Exactly.
It's almost a spiritual thing.
It is.
Meaning,
I mean, I dive down 25 meters on a breath.
Holy crap!
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm probably down there for nearly 2 minutes.
So is that something that you've built up to over time? Because clearly, first couple of times you go down, it's going to be a new experience, and you're going to be building up to bigger depths, that sort of thing. Yeah. I actually started in Sydney. The first time I ever went with my mate, his name's Alex Hayes. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yes, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, Alex Hayes. Well, we went to school together. We were best mates in school.
Right.
No joke. And he's turned out pretty famous as well. So.
Yeah, he goes all right.
Yeah, so he's actually one of my mates there that I went to school with, and I went back one year from Spain and stayed at his house. And we went spearfishing out the front of his house in Clontarf, is it, I think?
Yep.
And we caught a few squid and a leather jacket or something, had a barbie, and then from there I just went back to Spain. I was like, I want to keep doing this. So
Hey, you can live off the land, survivor style.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I don't like killing animals. That's not the fun part. The fun part is going out hunting your own food and putting a plate on the table that you went and got,
But
and
that's it. If you're cooking it and making it, you're not doing it you're doing it for positive purposes. It's kind of
exactly. I mean, it's a much more sustainable way is actually going and catching your own food instead of buying it from the supermarket. Because those guys just throw out nets and they scrape the sea floors, you know, and whatever they don't want is dead and they just chuck it in the bin.
That's
it's
like
horrible.
My dad's actually a fisherman, a professional fisherman. I don't know if you've heard of Sejuna. It's on the Nullarbor.
No,
it's all right.
Haven't heard of it.
No one else has heard of it either. It's a very small. It's down on the Nullarbor, down near the Great Australian Bight. But he's a whiting fisherman, and he fishes with one hand line, one fish, or sometimes two fish at a time, depending if he gets a double header. Wow. And he works his ass off to catch those fish. And I hear all the time about the people netting, and they're killing all these other animals for no reason. And anyway, don't get me started on that.
The ultimate statement of sustainability and self-sufficiency, realistically, isn't it?
It is. It is. And spearfishing is actually the most selective form of fishing, because you see what you're going to get.
On time.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you don't actually just throw a hook in and go, I hope I get a snapper.
Yeah.
And you pull up and eat it, you know?
Exactly sometimes right. I have done that. I'm guilty of that.
I mean, so am I.
Yeah.
I've pulled up a stingray once. It's just like,
oh no.
Yeah. Anyway.
Clara, do you like fishing as well?
No.
I think it's fun, but no. Yeah, I like it. The thing is that I can hold my breath as long as he does. I mean, he can go down the 23 meters or something like that, and I do 5. You know? So it's so stupid what I do.
You compete a little bit.
You wait for him at the 5 meters. You're there.
Yeah.
You wait for him.
No. She waits in the boat sunbaking.
Sounds like she's got her priorities right.
Let me tell you a story. Here we go.
Go on.
Yeah, here we go. So me and my mate, we're in.
No, but you have to explain it. Okay. You have to explain everything.
She was tired.
No, I wasn't tired. I was having a pill for my allergies because I get stressed with his races. So I was having a pill.
Oh, no, not at all. No,
I was dead.
Anyway, she was tired. Me and my mate, we jump off the boat. We go on spearfishing. And meanwhile, we're spearfishing.
Wait, sorry. It was at 5 in the morning.
Okay, whatever.
So,
wow.
It's a late night or an early morning?
It was a late night and an early morning.
Okay,
so it was like
the best kind.
Anyway, we throw probably 3 rods off while we're spearfishing. And I'm like, I tell Clara, listen for the rods. And she's like, yeah, okay. So me and my mate were off probably 40 minutes just checking out some zones and things.
Yep.
And I get back, we didn't catch anything. And I said, did you catch anything, Clara? And she's like, huh? And she was like half asleep. And she's like, no, I didn't get anything. No. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, let's move spot, start reeling in the rods. And I'm like, oh, this one's got a heavy weight on it, doesn't it? I start reeling it in. Up comes this bloody sea bream. I'm like, what? And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I didn't realize.
I was there.
She slept through a rod going crazy like that.
But technically, I think she caught that fish because she was the one in charge of the rod when it hooked on. So
yeah,
exactly.
Sure, right.
I'll go for that.
Yeah. There you go.
You hunted, you gathered. Well done.
I remember the first day of quarantine that I was so stressed because here in Spain it was crazy, and I was going crazy too. Like, it's the apocalypse, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
The supermarkets were empty, and he looked at me and he said, "No worries, I can go fishing. We are fine.
I got this."
That's brilliant. That's what. So that leads me on to my next question. I was going to say, how are you guys handling quarantine? Obviously, we talk to Manuel a lot, who's also in Spain, but we're over in Australia. Things are a lot different. What's it like over there for you guys? How you been handling it, and what's the future like for you coming up?
I'll start. I got back from Qatar, and basically that week it kind of all started.
Yep.
Didn't seem too serious, and I was kind of just thinking it's a bit of like, won't be too serious. We can still go on with our lives.
Yeah.
And about a week later, there were police checkpoints, basically every roundabout, nobody on the streets, and it was just like, oh man, okay, this is getting serious.
Where are the zombies?
Yeah, it was kind of like, all right, what am I allowed to do? So we're trying to figure out if I can still train. No, can't train. What can I do? We're going to be stuck in the house. Then actually I found out, because I have this workshop is my business.
Yep.
I was actually allowed to work. So I came here to work / play. And yeah, I've been working actually on my my old cars here. So cars and bikes. So that kind of kept me entertained. Then there were 2 weeks where we couldn't even work. So I brought my trials bike home and was riding the trials bike around the garden. Thank God.
I saw some footage of that as well. Is that a gas, is it, or?
No, it's a TRS, Spanish bike.
Yep.
From Tarres. He used to world champion, trials champion. So
cool.
Yeah, really good bike. Yeah, I bought it last year. No? Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, I rode around in the garden. Thank God that the neighbours were cool, and I could stay on a bike.
Kid's over there on his bike again.
Yeah, no, I did it every second day, so it wasn't every day annoying them. So yeah, I mean, yeah, now we could go back to the workshop. So I've been working here and obviously just doing, you know, some exercise, and now we can do some exercise outside. So we have a curfew, but yeah, we've been running and at least keeping active. But, and now she can go back and ride her horses again, which is
Remy, Remy, I have heard that maybe riders with a license can go to the circuits to have some training as well.
So yeah, it's kind of a bit unclear at the moment. Sports people that are federated are allowed to train all day.
Yes.
No, federated, it's only from 6 to 10 and from 8 till 11.
Really?
Yeah, federated. But if you're professional sports or
An
an elite
elite,
exactly.
Yeah, you can train all day, but you're not allowed to train at a sports complex. So it's kind of silly. So I'm allowed to train, but I'm not allowed to go to the track. Yeah. Unfortunately, like, I need tracks and I need them to open, and I've been in contact with them, but they can't open at the moment because they're a sports complex. I'm speaking with Ricky Carduce that has the dirt track at Montmello, and he's trying real hard, pushing really hard to try and get approval from the Catalonian government to get a list of just MotoGP riders, so we can go and train there, you know, and start riding again, because, you know, Jerez, they've got the date for Jerez, and we need to get back on bikes and start getting fit again. So,
oh, hell yeah.
And you might not have much notice. Hey, like, it might all happen quite quickly and you're going to be like, oh crap, I need to.
Yeah, we gotta try and, I mean, Jerez looks like it's confirmed, so we got to work towards that date, and, you know, hopefully in the next week or so, Catalonia can open up their restrictions and we can start training at the tracks. But yeah, it's a government thing, unfortunately.
Can I ask a question? I'm just going to jump to a whole other topic because I don't want to forget, and I need to ask you this. What the hell was that video of them taking that big steel rod out of your leg?
Oh. Yeah, that was fun. No,
I was trying to show my husband. I'm like, check out this video, and he's like, Andrew, I can't watch that.
Check out this video.
Like, it's so cool. I can't believe they let you film it.
Actually, to let you know, it was the day of my birthday. The doctor
happy
said,
birthday.
like, okay, you can choose the, I don't know, he said like 2-3 days, and he said, yeah, perfect, the 3rd.
This day will do.
And I was like, you sure? Yeah, no worries, I will be perfect.
So you got to hold the camera, yeah?
Who filmed it?
It was the doctor.
I can't believe they filmed it.
Sorry, the doctor was the one smacking, and he was kind of like, he couldn't believe, like, basically because the titanium fuses so well to the bone. I'd only left it in there 1.5 years, and I got good, strong bones and fast-growing bones, and they kind of fused to all the screws and plates.
That footage was nuts. Like, that was crazy.
The doctor was really like, he was surprised. And
yeah, that's why he recorded.
Yeah, so he calls up his mate, and he's like, yo, come in here. This is incredible.
Got to see this.
He calls up his mate.
He calls up his mate, and his mate comes in and starts filming. So they're banging away. And if you get to the end of the video, they break the tool, and he's just like, oh, I broke it.
That's what I thought, because I was watching it. I was like, is that what just actually happened? And then it makes you wonder all the stuff that goes on while you're asleep.
Yeah.
And we're going to need a bigger chisel.
That was just the rod. That was just the rod. I had screws that wouldn't come out, and then they couldn't get one of the screws out, so they had to open up the other side of my leg and drill it out through the other side.
Are they all gone now? Like, they're all absolutely gone? They can't leave anything in?
Nothing in me. Nothing in me. But in the process of getting that nail out of my leg, they actually refractured the tibia.
That was rough.
Oh.
Yeah.
Actually, when the doctor said that, he first called me and explained me everything, the whole process, that he was okay, but there was the small fissure.
Yeah, fracture.
Fracture. And well, in the end, Remy found out that, and he was so angry, like, shit, now I have this broken again. Yeah. And I said, like, no worries, he has a video of the operation. And he was like, oh, really? And he just forgot about the broken bone, and he was happy, like, really? Wow, that's so sick.
We've got a gnarly video, it's okay. So how long ago was that? Is it healing okay?
Oh, yeah, mate. He was like, oh, the doctor's like, yeah, you got to be careful because it's fractured and we don't want to open the bone up and break it more. He's like, don't be walking until a month after the operation and be careful. And I mean, all my legs were, yeah, I was probably, 3 days?
We had a lockdown in my house with my mom helping, but in the end, it was impossible.
Yeah.
I was like jailed in her house with her mum, who's like the best mum in the world and takes care of me.
Cool.
And they were stressing out that I was already walking around the house and doing the dishes and stuff.
Hey, at least you're doing housework. You got to earn your keep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I felt bad sitting there on the sofa.
There's a mother-in-law stressing about doing the dishes. That's crazy.
She'll have you back any day. Exactly. How did you two meet, if I may ask?
It's a long story, but yeah, we met at a party. Well, I don't remember.
Maybe Clara, can you tell this story if you remember?
Yeah, no, I remember him because he was lost, and I knew his best friend, Dakota Mamola, and he was lost, and he was all the time asking me, hey, have you seen my friend? And I was like, what's wrong with this kid?
And I had my ankle was actually broken. It's infected. I was in a lot of pain. This was a few years ago. I was half drunk. I'd lost my mates, and I was like, "Have you seen my friend?"
Going for the sympathy angle. Nice, like it.
Well, I don't even remember, honestly.
So here I was thinking that you weren't going to be such an Aussie bloke because you've lived there for so long. But thank you for proving that once you're, once that's in your blood, that's it.
You can take the
I still got my accent. I still got, my beliefs, and I still walk around in board shorts and thongs. So
yeah.
So how long have you been over there?
8 years. 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you go over there by yourself, or what was the start of it all?
So I did a race. So my first ever race on the tarmac was actually here in Spain, in Albacete. And it was the NSF 100 European Cup or something.
Yep.
And they invited me to do it, and I wanted to do it. My dad's like, all right, let's do it. I got my ass kicked. And we went back to Australia, and then we did a few races there, and I won everything. Like the level that it gave me that I started off in Spain with was just like, I kicked everyone's ass in the first race, and I was like, all right, what do we do now? So yeah, the decision was, let's move to Spain. Let's carry out, this career and try and make it, the dream happen. So
nice.
Family moved, the whole family, my brother, my dad, my mum. We moved here, and we were here a year, and then my parents got a divorce while they were here. That was messy.
Yeah.
And then we nearly went back. It was tough. The first 2 years were tough, and there was a point where we nearly went back to Australia. But we hung in there, and I'm glad we did. So
does your brother ride as well?
Yeah, well, no, not anymore.
Oh, he did though.
He raced when he was younger, but then he didn't have a passion for it. He likes riding, but he doesn't have the passion for racing.
I am curious. I'm getting back to the non-racing. Clara, after that meeting, how did you get together? Because the introduction wasn't very...
Yeah.
It wasn't even an introduction. We just saw each other.
It's the first time we met.
Yeah. And the second time was even better. I was in a race because I work with the MotoGP races more or less too. I do the color necks. I don't know if you have seen them in the grid.
Yep.
It's a cold color thing to maintain the riders fresh during the start grid.
Like the ice wraps sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like an ice, like an ice wrapped scarf thing that has like their logos and colors or whatever on it.
Yeah, so we were it was in Sachsenring.
Yeah.
And we were with Dakota. I was with a friend. We were talking with Dakota, and suddenly he appeared, and he didn't even talk to me and my friend. He was
lost.
just
was he still wandering around?
Still looking for his mate.
I was. That year was not a good year, and I was not in the best of moods.
He was
all the
just
time.
showing pictures of scars, and I was like, what's wrong with this guy?
Kickstick scars. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
That's just how Australians pick up. They're like, "Hey, look at my tough guy."
The first meeting was exceptional. The second was also some kind of strange. Yes,
it was pathetic. Seriously, I don't even think I spoke a word to her.
No,
it was like she wasn't even there.
No, actually, I remember that I asked, like, "Wow, how many stitches you had there?" And he said, like, 100.
So what was the moment, Clara, that you went, "Hey, this guy's all right"?
Wait, the story gets
it's a long story.
I feel like it's going to be a little way.
So he broke his 2 legs it was in May.
Yeah, that was with all the plates when I broke my legs.
Yep. Yeah, well, actually we saw again in my carnival party, because I do a carnival party at my house, but nothing. We just talk a little bit and that's it.
There was a little bit of dancing.
He broke his 2
with
legs.
broken legs. Oh no, this was.
I
just picked
another party, just talking, and then we didn't talk for 3 months. Then I broke my legs.
And the moment he broke his legs, his best friend Dakota was leaving to Italy.
To live in Italy, and I didn't have anyone at home. My dad wasn't there.
So with the same friend, with the one I was in Sachsenring, we said like, "Oh, poor kid, he's alone at home and with his broken legs." We start to So we start to see him and to see each other and hang up, and we become like best friends because we became really good friends. For about 6 months, we were just good mates, hanging out. Yeah, we were wakeboarding and hanging out on a boat and just chilling. Actually, he started riding trials bikes thanks to me, because I used to ride trials, and I remember I took him, and the first time I was like so excited, like, what do you think? That's really useful for you, no? Because the balance, and I knew so many riders train with trials bike, and I felt like, that's really good for him. And he was like, I prefer motocross, it's better, it's a bit boring. And now he loves it.
Remy, can you ride a horse? Yeah,
I'm pretty good.
Horrible.
Yeah? I'm pretty good.
Horrible.
I'm pretty good. He's horrible.
Shut up. I'm good. Stop. Wait, stop. I've ridden a horse maybe 4 times, okay?
And you didn't fall off, so it's good. You're good.
Yeah, it's good.
I didn't fall off. I've already jumped the horse, and I just want to go higher and higher, and she doesn't let me.
No. He tried, and every time he rides a horse, I have to catch him like, stop, be careful, stop.
He is a racer. It's clear.
Exactly. I just want to go fast. And
I was going to say, you got to slow down for the jump, though.
Yeah, but I just want to gallop. I just want to go.
Yeah.
Flat out. And she's just like, no. And I start to go, gallop. And she's like, stop.
Actually, the it wasn't because of me. It was my dad and a couple of friends there putting the jumps and everything, because otherwise I wouldn't let him.
Hey, but did I do it good?
Yeah. It was
good. Winner.
Look, once I was told by Randy Mamola, somebody you know very well, he told me, look, I get a lot of tickets, and how can I avoid this? Because since I am 12, I was taught I have to pass the car who is in front of us. So every time he goes on the road, he has to be the one who is in front.
Yeah.
Is it like that driving?
I drive fast. Yeah, I drive fast. Yeah.
How many speeding tickets have you had?
Not many. Maybe One?
Oh, really?
Nice.
One?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
a bit disappointed.
Well
No,
done.
two speeding tickets in my van. And one of them is a little bit unfair.
Typical.
Wasn't your-
I am not guilty. Have you heard this?
I was only 8 kilometers over, and actually I was below the speed limit because it's a van. You have to be doing 10 kilometers slower.
Oh, yes, true.
Really?
So, yeah.
That sounds way too complicated.
I got one
Yeah,
myself
I
the
know.
other month, and I actually rang them up adamant. I was like, I know when this happened, there was another car near me. I looked down. I know I wasn't speeding. Like, I was so serious. And she's probably like, yep, I get this all the time. I'm like, no, I know it wasn't me. And she said, look, would you like me to send you a photo? I'm like, yep, send me a photo. There's me. Like, no car around me, just me.
Doing 160. Happy, right?
Oh, I just paid it
Yeah.
off too. Bastard.
Thank God in Spain, the fines and the point system is not too strict like Australia.
Oh,
Yeah,
That was I
sure you
wasn't even
remember.
that much over, and it was hundreds. It was like $200-300.
Yeah.
Oh, here it's great. Here you can do 100. Here you can do 150 down the motorway without even losing points.
What's the speed
And
limit
it'll
though?
be 120, but you have to be 30 kilometers over the speed limit to even
To get a
start losing
fine.
points.
Oh man.
Manuel,
So-
warm up your spare room. I'm
Yeah,
moving
we're
to
coming.
Spain.
Yeah. and it's only €50 fine.
What?
Oh,
No, it's 100 euros, but if you pay it within 15 days, it's 50.
So do you realize now why we have 10 riders in MotoGP?
Exactly.
Claro, yeah.
let's go.
Indeed.
Remy, how is racing going? Because last year you did a very big step forward, and then at the end of the season it didn't go that well. How are you looking to this season? Which are your goals?
Yeah, no, last year was a step up. I mean, it was my first year really racing at the front. That I was kind of stuck in the limelight. I was like, man, we're up the front. I was like, let's just go and win a race. And every race, it was just kind of a little bit impatient, I think, and a lot of bad luck as well last year. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have any experience racing at the front as well, so that was a year of good experience, racing up there. Towards the end of the year we had a few issues within the team, which weren't really helping. And towards the end of the year after Valencia, at the Valencia race, we just said, all right, we know what we need to do for next year. My crew chief left me last year, so I took Tetsu's from last year. And we started a test in Valencia at the end of last year, and we got off to a really good start. Different way of working, a lot more calm and not changing the bike so radically. And and I worked a lot throughout the winter after I got my plates out. Obviously, I was December, not doing too much. But yeah, during January and February, I worked really hard. Especially on the trials bike, just trying to get bit more technique and start thinking things through, and I put in a really good off season, and I think it really showed at the first at the first race.
Qatar, yeah, that fifth, that was a great result, man.
Yeah. Obviously, I think a lot more could have been possible in Qatar, but I really noticed in Qatar struggling with the full fuel tank at the beginning of the race, not riding, but bike, not that extra weight, not accelerating, because I am heavy, and
I was going to say,
would give the other riders.
Yeah, you've been quite open in saying that obviously you are a lot larger than a lot of the other riders, and that does affect you at the beginning of the race as well. So
yeah. I mean, if you have a look at many races, you'll see towards the last 7-8 laps, I'll come back real fast. And it's at the beginning where it doesn't accelerate, and it gives the opportunity for the other riders to get close up to a braking zone and attack. Okay, I can defend, but then we could touch, I could change lines, and another guy can attack me, and I get in shit fights. And I go backwards, and that really was the problem in Qatar. I was just getting in shit fights, and I just getting punted off, and hit and getting past, and then we're closing up. Then I'd lose the group, and it was just, it was until once I could really get everyone spread out and attack one at a time, I was coming back fast. And I mean, you could see I was one of the, I think me and Tetsu were the only guys in those lap times. So
and having seen Tetsu winning, is this something positive with you? Because you raced with him last year and you were normally better than him. That means that you can do it.
No, for sure. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe I couldn't win, you know. Yeah, Tetsu rode a good race. I think he was, if you have a look, he was quite like that for the whole race. He was riding really, really on the limit, on the edge, and I could see he was pushing hard. So he rode a good race, but I don't know if he could do it another time like that and finish it, let's say.
Week in, week out, yeah.
No, exactly. But congratulations to him. You know, he deserves it, and he's been there forever. So, you know, he deserves it. He's 28 years old now, so
yeah.
Clara, how do you go? How do you go watching him ride?
It's horrible. Horrible. I don't understand.
Do you sometimes just not watch?
No, it's like I have to watch it. Yeah. I know that there are other family or friends who doesn't look or doesn't watch, but I have to watch it. But it's horrible. And no, horrible. And when I'm at home, we have to watch it in silence, because the moment they start saying like, "Oh, come on, he's there. Don't worry, that's it. He has it." Yeah. I'm like, "Shut up, please, shut up. Don't say anything."
Don't want to jinx anything. You don't want to do anything.
Yeah, no. So we watch the races in silence. Oh. My mom jumping over the sofa, my dad the same, and I'm like so stressed. It's difficult for me.
Remy, let me ask you a harsh question.
Tell me.
Do you prefer her at the tracks or at home?
I prefer at the track.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
No, she doesn't distract you, I mean.
No. I mean,
in the beginning, I wasn't even going to the box because I know it's not a sport, it's his job. Claro. And I'm pretty serious. So in the beginning, I wasn't even at the box, and he was like, "Hey, where are you? I'm here waiting for you." And I was like, no, I don't want to distract you. I don't want to bother.
You're working. Get on with it.
Yeah.
No. Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of people who tries to be there and loves to be there because, of course, it's really cool. It's incredible to see how they are working and everything. But I try to bother the less. And in the end, I'm more there in the box and everything because I try to help him.
Yeah, I personally like when she's there. You know, it just gives a nice little, it's good, you know, to just have someone there that you can really talk to at the end of the day and say, this happened and this happened, what do you think? And it's just nice to have the support there. Obviously, she doesn't get involved in the technical side or anything like that. And no, she doesn't annoy me. She, you know, leaves me alone. She helps me. She takes my helmet.
It's unconditional support.
I think it's also important the fact that I do compete. So I know more or less how is it. And I try to do what I would like to have. For example, my dad always comes with me to the competitions and he's really good too. So I just try to be there and give him an extra confidence or whatever. For example, I remember in Qatar, after his crash, he was like, and I was really stressed because first, I think it was the first day and he crashed and I saw that. And I was like, come on, don't worry, that's nothing. If you're riding bikes, that happens, no worries. But I was really stressed.
I actually had a broken rib in Qatar race from that crash on Friday.
Really?
Yeah, I broke a rib.
Wow.
I hit my head real hard as well. So that was at the end of FP2. I launched it in turn 1, massive high side, and hit the ground. Yeah. And I knew there was something going on with my ribs, and hit my head. I was doing circles for a while.
You were like that guy back at the party.
I was. I was lost. I didn't film it, but I actually got up off the track and ran to get off the track, man, if they would have filmed me, I would have ran like zigzag as if I was drunk.
And you were asking, have you seen my friends, my mates?
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
seen my mates?
I was asking them, like, where's my bike?
On a bike. It's white and green.
Do you
Help
do
me.
that if you fall off? Do you look for your bike first, or do you think, no, I
first
need
thing.
to get out of the way?
Well, if you're on the track, obviously you get out of the way. Try and get out of the way as fast as possible. But then if you're out in the gravel, it's where's my bike? Is it damaged? Can I start it? That's it.
Yep.
That's all you're thinking.
Yep.
Levers,
Remy,
pegs,
when-
make sure it's all
when-
still
when-
there. Can you restart it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pegs, not even. More brakes. If you got front brake and gas, you get it.
Yeah.
Remy, when will we see a Gardner again in the major class?
I don't know. I hope next year.
Wow.
I hope.
So
I've
where
been
do you
in
see your best
Moto2.
opportunity?
Pardon?
Where do you see your best opportunity in MotoGP at the moment? Is there a
Team-wise?
team that you're talking to?
Any.
Anyone, I'll do.
Anyone. I've done 4 years now in Moto2.
Yep.
I keep getting to the same conclusion where my weight is hindering me. And just to have that little bit extra edge, and that help at every race, I think, with the big bikes, I will really have a good style, and I think I can do an even better job than I can in Moto2. So honestly, I'd like to move up next year. Hopefully we can get back racing and I can prove that to everyone, and I can secure a contract. So I feel like I'm ready. I've done enough years in Moto2, and hopefully we can have a few more races this year so I can show, everyone, all right, let's do it. I'm ready.
Indeed.
Remy, have you dreamt riding a bike with 280 horsepower?
I've ridden Yamaha Superbike, and that was 230, I think, and awesome. All I wanted to do was take the electronics off and just have it lit sideways, smoking tires. And the wheelie control, I'm like, take it all off. Let me ride it like a man.
That's a Gardner style.
Like a Gardner, that's it. And how do you get along with Jack?
He's a good guy. Yeah, he lives in Andorra, so it's like we can't really hang out too much. But we're Aussies, aren't we? We understand each other pretty well. So he's a country boy as well, and we're good mates. We're good mates.
Do you find you gravitate towards similar personalities? Other Aussies, country boys, as you say, when you're around the track, and what other riders have you sort of gotten that bond with out of the group?
Let's see. I don't know. I don't have too many rider friends. I got to be honest.
Yeah, cool.
Is
that because of the rivalry that's always there, you think, or?
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to have mates that you're racing against. Because the moment that you have mates, you show sympathy, and sympathy you don't want to have.
You sound like Manuel. He doesn't have any friends either.
But that's because I'm a journalist. That's because I'm a journalist.
You want to be able to push over your grandma in the last corner at the last lap to win the race. You have to be willing to push her over and kick her in the last corner and be that much of a savage to anyone on the track.
Well said, man. Well said.
Do you know Billy? Billy, the one who races in the Rookies Cup?
Yeah, Billy Van Heerde, no?
Van Heerde, but he doesn't look an Aussie because he's so shy and so silent, isn't he?
He is.
What? We're all shy. What are you talking about?
He's quiet, but he's a nice kid. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, so, very nice. I like him a lot. And
he's really nice. Yeah. He's Claudia helped him out, I think. No? So,
that's it.
Yeah, he lives with Claudia and Laura.
Yeah. So
poor Billy. That's why he doesn't speak. All right.
But yeah, no, he's a nice kid, and hopefully, I think he hangs out with Jack as well. So I wish him the best for the future. It's always nice to have young Aussies coming through.
Look, Remy, I have a theory regarding you riders this year. you have never been used to be such a long time off the bikes. Okay, you may physically you may be fully fit, but you have detrained riding bikes. So do you think that we can see some surprises because this situation is new for everyone?
Yes, yeah, 100%. Some guys will pick it up like this, and other guys need laps and laps and laps and laps and laps and laps and all year until they're there.
Do you think that you'll be better at this because you've obviously had some serious injuries and you haven't been able to ride for a while? Is this a similar kind of break? It's just another break?
Yeah, it's just, for me, it's never really been a problem just to jump on the bike and get it like that.
Cool.
Some will struggle though, like you said.
Some will struggle, yeah. I think it'll be interesting. You'll see. Obviously, just me training with my bikes around here, that pretty much gives me the base to get on within 1 day or 2 days on the bike to be back to the highest level,
speed.
which is really good for me. Even at the beginning of the year when we did the test in Jerez, the second day, I think I was already breaking the lap record. So,
and another question I have to you as a rider, which is the correct approach? Because the championship will be quite short, right? We will have 10, 12 races. A mistake will be very difficult to catch up with such. Will you be conservative or will you get in with all from the beginning
Super aggressive.
To show what you can do?
Not too aggressive. I learned that from last year. Yeah, no, you have to be smart. I think you just have to be really smart. I think any finish outside the top 5 and it's not going to be good. So I really think it's about consistency, I think. Depending on the tracks, you know, some riders go better at different tracks. And, you know, I think could be a little bit of luck this year, but also you just have to be, I think, strategic. And I think you really have to go for those top 5 finishes, nothing less.
Yeah.
How good is Jerez for you?
It's a good track. I've done so many laps around there. It's kind of, and now,
ventilator.
How good is Jerez and all the other tracks that are still on the calendar for the bike? Because we hear a lot in MotoGP about certain bikes liking certain tracks. What about the Calyx that you're on? Are the tracks that have been taken away, is that going to hurt your chances or is that going to be better for you? And I know it's not as much in Moto2 because it's a standard engine, but
and everyone's really got a Calyx, but Calyx works well in Jerez. It's probably the bike in Jerez, the Calyx. But it's a much different story for the GP guys. And now that they're having, looks like back-to-back races in Jerez, that could play out better and worse for some teams and some manufacturers, because if their bike doesn't work in Jerez, they're going to have 2 rounds of punishment.
Ducati is going to hate Jerez twice. But in your case, is it good twice in Jerez or not?
I don't like it, but that's what it is. And if we're going to have a championship this year, that's the way it's got to be, I think. I personally don't enjoy doing 2 races at the same track, 2 weekends again. And especially at Jerez, where we've done 20 million laps, 2,000 tests. And it's just like, God, Jerez again, all right.
we had a podcast the other day. We were saying, fair enough, do the first weekend, but when they come back to the same track for the second weekend, they should reverse the circuit.
Yeah, unfortunately, safety issues.
Yeah, exactly. Safety schmafety. Rumble strips, what are they? They're okay.
Well, I'm looking forward to see what happens now. The rest of this year and where you end up next year.
Yeah,
I'll be your new number 1 fan, because now that I've spoken to you, and don't laugh at this, but I have never, ever seen a live motorbike race. I've never watched one ever.
Really?
Yep.
You got it. They're exciting.
Now I'm going to be an expert before the races even start, and it's going to totally be completely different to what everyone's told me. I tried to play. I tried to play the MotoGP Xbox game. I'm shithouse. Absolute shithouse.
Yeah, me too. I'm crap. I'm fit. No,
Right.
I'm not. I'm
Makes
not
four
good
of us.
either.
Yeah.
I keep to the real thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Remy, I have convinced here my mates that we shall meet in Suzuka for the 8 hours this year.
Who? Me?
No,
Oh.
we are. We
Oh,
four.
okay.
Our little
Yeah,
four.
Us
We're going to put a
podcast guys.
team in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys gonna race?
No.
Yeah, why not?
No,
They
we're
have a
going to
scooter
we're going
race,
to meet
don't
up and have a beer and yeah,
A beer. One beer. One set
Indeed.
Or
beer.
two?
You
yeah.
have to make
Or
sure you.
three?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Try and get
Remy,
out there and get out to
don't
Japan.
you know that your father is an absolutely idol in Japan because the 8 hours he had done there. Are you?
Yeah, I know he is. He's very famous in Japan, and I
Very
think
much.
six or seven times, 8
Something
hours
like
he won.
that.
I think.
You'd be
So-
sick of
Also
hearing about that,
famous
wouldn't
for-
you?
He's also famous for getting thrown in jail as well in Japan, along with
Really?
me.
What'd you do?
Yeah, how
What
did you
happened?
go with that?
Oh, I was all right. I was only
Wait, this is a
2
story
days.
I don't know. Can you tell
You
me
don't
what
know?
happened? No.
What was it? 4 years ago, something like that. Yeah, we were on the way to the circuit, and basically we had a little bit of we knocked the wing mirror on the back of a guy's car, and there was damage.
Oh yeah, as you do.
As you do. Yeah.
Anyway, just like as the wing mirror folds in, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
just
Oh yeah,
fold
yeah,
in a
yeah.
bit.
I've done that plenty of times parking at Coles.
Exactly. And here in Spain, it's just like, yeah, all good. Yeah, no
Sorry,
worries.
mate.
See you
Yeah.
later. Yeah. Yeah, not in Japan.
It's obviously
Yeah,
escalated
not in
quickly.
Japan.
How do you go from that to
It
prison?
escalated very quickly, and these guys
Yep.
got out and actually saw the pass. Wayne Gardner, world champion, and they started to put on a big show and started, trying to
Being
steal
dickheads.
things from the car. Yeah, and they called the cops and basically told the cops a bullshit story. And what were we going to say in Japanese? Basically, put Wayne Oss in handcuffs. This is Sunday morning before the race. Put him in
Oh,
handcuffs.
my
He's
God.
gone. I missed warm up. This is in Motegi, and
Oh, yeah.
I did the race. What happened? I think
He's in prison,
Yeah, he was in the jail.
and you were like,
they're
"Yeah,
like,
race."
you need to come later. We need to talk about details, blah, blah, blah. So I went to the station after, and I'm like, all right, how much do I need to pay? Where is he? How do I get him out? And they're like, oh, no, he's going to be in there for 2 weeks. And I'm like, what?
That's all I need to pay. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah. And I
Did
was
you
like,
leave him
all
there?
right, well, yeah, I'm like, all right, well, I got to go to Australia, so I'm just going to leave him.
See ya.
They're like, oh, no, you can't leave the country. And I was like, why? And they're like, because you know what happened, and we need to
Like, you were
question you.
involved.
Right. So I'm like, all right, I'll cooperate. Maybe they'll let me go in the next few days.
Yeah.
Oh, so they locked
They
you
picked
up
me up
too
in the
then at
morning.
this point?
So I'm still free.
Oh, okay.
So I go back, and they're like, we'll pick you up from the hotel in the morning. They get there an hour earlier than they said, and I get downstairs and I check out, and they take me around the back of the hotel, and they're like, you're under arrest. Put me in handcuffs, take out my phone and wallet, and I'm in the sin bin. So
Oh, my God.
went through everything I had, all day interrogation. I was allowed one phone call, and I was like, okay, I'll call Midori Moriwaki. And they're like, okay, what's the number? Well, I don't know, it's in my phone. And they're like, oh, if you can't remember it, then no phone call. I was like,
Don't you know the name Moriwaki? Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, do you want us to contact the Australian Embassy? And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And it was just a day there, and I was tied up, handcuffed to a chair with rope and everything all day.
Shit.
They, at the end of the day, they went through all my clothes and shit I had in my bag and everything, and counted everything, put it in envelopes. End of the day, they put me in a van with a straight jacket on, with handcuffs to a straight jacket, like as if I'm fucking Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter, yeah.
And I'm walking down the stairs like this, and they put me in the van, and I sit between two policemen that I'm tied to.
Oh, my God.
Hours van trip. What was it? I think they put a bag over my head as well, honestly.
Did you get waterboarded?
Yeah, seriously. And I'm like,
Are you a serial killer on the side?
I was going to say, what do they do to
sorry,
bloody...
It wasn't a bag. They put like a rain jacket over my head so I couldn't see my face anymore. I'm not even kidding you.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, we get into the real jail, and
that's just the warm up.
Closed the garage door, walked me upstairs. I had to do the bloody strip down naked, check nothing's in there. And yeah, basically they said pick 3 sets of clothes, and now we'll refer to you as 105, 106.
Is that how many times they cavity checked you?
Wow.
No, thank God. 106, whatever it is in Japanese, and that's it. We'll refer to you as your number. So I was
That's some good father-son bonding there.
Oh, he was. I didn't know he was there, but I didn't see him.
Oh my Lord.
I managed to
He's
get
probably
out.
sitting there, kicking back, chilled out.
No, he was stressed. He was a little baby about it, honestly. He was stressed. But I was all right. I was actually watching the Prison Break series at that time. So I'm like, can I use something?
So if you wanted to get out, you could have done.
God, what do they do to serious criminals then? They just chop their heads off. That's pretty full on for a not much.
Incredible. And it was like I was in jail. Like it was a jail. And
that is full on.
After 3 days, I was out. Managed to get to Phillip Island on Thursday afternoon and do the race.
Wow.
It was insane experience.
Okay, guys, I think an hour of chat is enough.
Yeah, that is amazing. Thank you so much, guys. On that note, it's been absolutely wonderful. We're so glad to hear and see that you're doing well in lockdown. We're wishing you the biggest success throughout the rest of 2020, and obviously we want to see you in the top class in 2021, mate.
Thank you, me too.
Obviously, do Australia proud, do yourself proud, beyond all else. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you,
And
guys.
thank you, Clara.
Clara, thank you for the managing. And Remy, hope to see you somewhere soon.
Yeah. Sí, nos veremos en alguna carrera.
Eso espero. In Jerez, they say that they won't let us in, but I have spoken with some Mexican, and they are doing a tunnel to the circuit.
El Chapo.
with El Chapo Guzman. And then I have hired, how do you say, disfraz? I have hired
a costume.
A rabbit costume. So I will hide behind the bush somewhere there.
Okay, can you take her with you then?
2 rabbits.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, you take care. Thank
Awesome,
you.
guys.
Thank you so much,
Thanks
guys.
so much.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Adios, Clara. Gracias.
A vosotros.
See you later, guys.